Alright guys, this is pretty exciting. I'm really pumped tonight. Gonna bring in Brittany. Hey Brittany. Hey, well, we're live. My face is massive, so I'm gonna zoom back. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. I really like your glasses. They're super rad.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love it. It's kind of, I feel really cool with them. But obviously, as you know, like they're just to help with the sleep. It's about 8:38 here, and I want to have a good sleep because I've got to get up for another live tomorrow. So, but I'm so pumped. Like this, this topic is like obviously we're going to talk about breath and how it changes people's lives, but it's actually really personal for me. Um, and yeah, I'd like to obviously it would be nice to share our experiences, but also I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot. Gonna,
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to hearing about your experiences as well. That's always really
yeah.
really nourishing for me too.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I put a really kind of clickbaity title. I was gonna put something like "Can't believe this, oh my god," but I thought maybe just feel Britney out first, like and then we'll see. But like for me, it started pretty much. I never thought much about breath. I never thought that it meant anything. Like I'm reading James Nest. Well, I'm listening to James Nestor's book, Breathe at the moment, and he said something which I completely resonate with, which is why do we even need to talk about breath? Like it's such a simple thing. But I remember a couple of years ago, as I was working and I was really stressed, I started to get a lot of type restriction, and I might show this at the end depending on how many people hop on. But and I went to a specialist actually for breath. I think it was an anesthetist, but we did tests and everything. And in the end, he said, "Look, mate, you've got reduced lung capacity. Blah blah. It could be your ethnicity, and we're comparing, Southeast Asian to Caucasian or whatever, African, doesn't matter." And he said, there's nothing you can really do." And he just said, "Well, you could pick up an instrument, you could learn to play a musical instrument, or you could learn to breathe through your diaphragm." And I thought, okay, like, is that it? Like, yeah, surely not. And just to sort of not drag the story on, basically, um, like James, I don't know if you read the book by James, I'm sure, like, or
I
you've
have
heard of
not
it.
yet actually.
Oh,
It is high on my list,
oh,
but yeah, it's not one that I've dug into yet.
sure. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, so, and I started breathing through my stomach, and I'm sure people listening like don't, yeah, you don't sort of think about it consciously because you're told that breathing is just an unconscious thing. And then gradually, yeah, whenever I used to get sick, I used to have some kind of restriction, like tightness, and it slowly disappeared. Like I would put my hand, if I was ever stressed, I put my hand on my tummy, and and I'd feel in the car, and then gradually that feeling would subside, and I didn't inhale. It didn't work for me, like because it wasn't asthma. It was just there was this sort of tension there, and then gradually I started to look more into it, and I did yoga and stuff, and it really helped. So anyway, fast forward to today. I don't know if you've heard of the relaxators,
Yeah,
um, and I'm doing like, and of course, I do supplements, I exercise, so it's worked really well. And since then, a lot of wins. So, but yeah, I'd love to hear sort of like for you, why is breathing important? Like conscious breathing.
yeah, cool. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing your story. I think that it's a story that's more common than people realize. And I think that's because a lot of times conscious breathing or breath work is not uh, administered as a prescription for a lot of ailments. But there are a lot of things that people experience that are tied back to the breath, whether or not that
Yeah,
means um, the breathing pattern has caused the ailments or the ailments has then affected your breathing pattern.
yeah,
But a lot of times there is connection, and you can find relief at the very least. Maybe not curing everything. I do hesitate to say that the breath is a cure for everything. But a lot of times people can find significant relief that allows them to go into deeper healing just by doing breath work. So it's really rad. And actually, I think if it's okay with you, maybe we'll just like try it and experience it for ourselves. Because I think when people can experience how powerful just a couple of breaths can be, then usually they're pretty sold. So we'll do something super simple, but we'll just test a baseline for how our body's feeling. And then we'll do a very simple breathwork technique, and then we'll retest. And we'll just see how your body feels. So whoever's watching, if you just sit up nice and tall, and then I want you to just take a moment and look left and look right. And right now we're not forcing anything. I just want you to see, like, notice any tension. Notice where your neck naturally wants to stop without forcing, and just sort of see what your range of motion is on each side. So for me, when I look to the left, I'm actually a lot tighter this morning. And I don't get my chin quite to my shoulder. And when I look to the right, my chin is right at my shoulder, but it doesn't really want to go much further. And then just like hold on to that for a moment and put that in the back of your brain. And a lot of times people find that closing their eyes helps with the breathing a little bit. So if you're comfortable and safe not driving, you can just close your eyes. And we'll take a nice deep inhale through the nose. And exhaling with the sigh. And after that last exhalation, we'll just allow our lips to gently close. And we'll slowly start to inhale and exhale through the nose. And on your next inhalation, see if you can start to allow the belly to expand. So maybe even just placing one hand on the belly if that helps. And we're just going to add a gentle count to our breath. So we're going to inhale for 4, hold the breath for 4, exhale for 4, and hold the breath for 4. And we'll just do that for a very quick 3 rounds.
And is that like a stress release technique, or just to gauge sort of how good you are at breathing, sort of thing? Just for people that join, like.
Nope, this is just literally just taking a moment to connect with our breath and add a gentle count to it. Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll go ahead and guide you through that quickly. We'll take one regular breath together to prepare. So just inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, and then we'll inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. So we'll just stop there. We just did 2 very quick rounds, but now I just want you to retest your range of motion and recheck where the tension is.
Yeah, it just feels, It's
do you
funny,
feel
I feel
a little
more,
less tension, or?
There's no tension in the neck at all. It's just more in the back. But I feel like it's actually always been there. It's just that you're noticing the back more now because maybe that neck is sort of more released, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, so great. That was great.
Yeah, so the reason, for those who followed along, just to give you some very tiny sciencey bit about how that works, is
excellent.
by using our breath to basically hack into our nervous system, we can start to send signals to our body that we're in a safe and supported place. And when your brain thinks you're safe and supported, it gives you more range of motion and generally will also decrease your pain slightly. So we did no stretching. I didn't give you any sort of massage, But just by sending some little gentle signals to your brain, like, hey, your breath is calm, it's cool, it's collected, your brain says, hey, cool, we can have a party now. So I'm going to allow you to move a little bit more comfortably. So from two breathing cycles, most people will usually feel that experience. So for me, that's like the number one reason to practice breath work.
Wow.
It's so simple, and you can literally start to hack into your nervous system, which is really cool.
So I guess so what would you say are if you were to give 3 top benefits? So you've obviously mentioned, feeling safe, feeling relaxed, but as we both know, there's many health benefits. Like, how can people use this in everyday life? Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you seen? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't want to be the person that's like, breath work cures everything, but there are, I think, an endless amount of benefits to practicing conscious breathing or breath work. One of the biggest ones for me personally is just developing a greater connection to the present moment. So when you are actually focused on your breath in that present moment, naturally you aren't focused then on thoughts of the past or thoughts.
Yeah.
So it's probably, in my opinion, the easiest mindfulness technique for people to pick up, which then has extreme power for helping to curb things like anxiety, panic attacks, things like that. So if people listening are prone to those types of situations, breath work can be really healing for those types of ailments. So yeah, I would say that's one of the biggest benefits. And then of course there's all sorts of other benefits from developing a proper breathing mechanics, such as just being able to more effectively deliver oxygen to your cells, which allows your cells to function better. And from there, it just becomes an upward spiral, if you will. If your cells are functioning better and they're producing more energy, you tend to feel more energetic and balanced. Your body feels better. A lot of times pain is decreased. So again, there's lots of different things that I could ramble off. But ultimately, that's the biggest benefit that you get from breath work, is that your cells are able to more effectively and efficiently utilize the oxygen that you take in.
Very important. No, thanks for rounding it up. And it needs to be said. And I love what you said at the beginning about it being accessible. Like, it's easy for mindfulness. You don't have to sit in a cave or go somewhere and study for years and years to do something. You can just sit down, with Brittany, wherever, and just, or put on the tape. There's so much good stuff on Spotify, and just listen to it and really choose whatever you want in your own element. I love that. It's a lost art. Well, at least it's something that's been around, and now it seems like, I guess we're in the wellness circles, but everyone's talking about just breathe, get high on your own supply, as Wim Hof and stuff say. So I love that. That's great. Like, so what stimulated your interest in it? Did you go through challenges yourself? Would you say, like, if you're comfortable sharing, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people that get really intrigued about a certain subject generally have a backstory with that. And for me personally, that backstory was anxiety and panic attacks. So I think probably 12 years ago, I was working as a personal trainer. And on paper, I sort of had everything mostly together. I had a great job that I loved. I had a condo in Chicago. It was really nice, but I also was going through a divorce, and I started noticing that I had these periods where it literally felt like I couldn't breathe. And at that moment, I didn't know that I was having panic attacks, but it was an incredibly frightening experience. If anyone's had an intense panic attack, it can be very scary. And at the same time, I was working on starting to re-educate my personal training clients on how to breathe. But my focus in that perspective was always for performance-based. Yeah. How can I help them move better by helping them breathe better. So those two things kind of collided. It was like all of a sudden I was teaching my clients about their breath, yet my breath was being taken away from me, and I couldn't understand why. And that was really when I started going deeper and deeper and deeper into the practice and exploring not just the physical elements of a breathwork practice, but also the emotional and the healing, and really started to learn that the breath is truly, truly, truly the connection between your mind and your body.
Absolutely. It begins and ends. I think there was a quote that they said, like, in a really unfinished way, you don't breathe properly, you die. But there was some kind of proverb I had in my mind. It's in my mind. But yes, that's really quite a story. So I mean, it looks like you have it all put together now. And but obviously, like you said, it's always some kind of story that starts that kind of interest. So that's and what did you and who did you learn from someone? Did you do like a course, or like, you know, you can go on Google and a lot of people might do that and like, oh my gosh, there's Soma breathing, Wim Hof, and where did you begin?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I first started getting into the physical elements of breathwork when I was a personal trainer, and I specialized in working with kettlebells. And in the kettlebell world, there are a handful of personalities that are quite prominent, and they really started my interest or my path in learning about breathwork. So some of them, Dr. Gray Cook, he's actually really well known in the movement world. He is a really well known physiotherapist.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my first introduction to breathwork. And then there's someone named Dr. Perry Nicholson. He owns a company called Stop Chasing Pain. His education is absolutely outstanding. He is so wonderful at being able to take Western knowledge and all of this Eastern knowledge, and just any other knowledge. He's like this sponge and collector of knowledge, and he, no matter how weird something is, he doesn't discount it. If it worked for someone, it gets put in his head, and what he's brilliant at doing is making connections between everything.
What's his name? What's his name again?
Yeah, Dr. Perry Nicholson. He's a bit easier to find through his company name, which is Stop Chasing Pain.
Oh yeah, I'm on that boat.
Yeah, so he's, for those who follow me, I share his work all of the time. He's been a huge influence on me. I recently did a workshop with him on the vagus nerve, which I highly recommend, especially for professionals looking to learn more. So he's someone that's really influenced me. And then aside from that, in my own personal practice, I really started diving deeper into breathwork as a meditative element and as a practice of presence when I first started exploring yoga, which was about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And then, most recently, I'm currently training with Wim Hof. I'm part of the academy.
Awesome.
So hopefully soon we'll be a certified Wim Hof instructor as well.
That is exciting. So you got your own website. You're going to have your own website slot up and everything, and the contact on your bio, hopefully.
Unfortunately, not yet. So that's all coming in the works. I'm actually transitioning. I'm moving from Europe. I've lived here the last 4 years, and I'm actually moving back to the U.S. Next week. So I am in the process of redoing my websites and redoing some of my offerings, but that will be up soon. So right now, Instagram's the best place to connect.
Instagram's the best, yeah. And I guess for anyone that's listening that sort of wants to know more, like, I guess you know, obviously your page, that's what I know you mainly share. I love all kind of wellness stuff, but specifically for breathwork, I like the direction that you're going, and I feel, and we had a clubhouse chat, you know, and you were talking about the vagus nerve, like so passionately. I was like, wow, I've never heard anyone talk about the Vegas nerve like that. And to this day, every time I dunk my head in, every second time I think of you, I'm like, this is that Whitney girl, you know, I have to talk to her. Just really, I was dunking my head in, and I was like, the Vegas, you know. But anyway,
You know,
it,
it's a really cool nerve. It's actually it's the coolest nerve, if I can say so myself.
yeah, no, that's awesome. No, that's good. Hey, look, I really enjoyed our chat. Is there anything that you'd like to leave anyone with, like any sort of one thing about breath that they can take away with them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'd like to share or leave people with is the world of breath work can seem really overwhelming. It is becoming a lot more popular. There's a lot of different techniques and teachers. Um, but ultimately, you know, developing a relationship with your breath is as simple as just taking one or two breaths to really just connect and focus on how that breath feels, where it lands in your body. That's really the best first step that I can offer anyone who's really curious about, you know, developing a relationship with their breath.
Sure. Well, nicely said. You know, understand, know thyself.
Yeah.
But yeah, love it.
Cool.
Awesome, Whitney. That was amazing. Talk soon, and I hope everyone listening, and really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it, and that exercise. I'm really ready for bed.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It was nice to chat. And I think I'm going to get off here and Google yellow blue light blocking glasses now because I really like yours.
Like, I'm not affiliate anything, but God, you should get True Dark. They're
Cool.
awesome. Yeah, I love. I'm part of actually Dave Asprey's mastermind group as well. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah,
Super.
cool, awesome, and have a great move back.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll be watching.
Cool. All
Cool.
right. Chat soon.